Hello and welcome to Eledor Plays EU5, Europa Universalis 5. So this isn't actually a playthrough episode, this is more of a showing my achievements so far with the game. So I've had a period of time I've been wanting to play this game for ages. But I caught influenza, I had a lot of homework to do, my dad had to go to hospital, all these things threw me off and so I couldn't touch it. And I also lost my voice entirely, which is basically recovered now. So yeah. We're at 1384. I still control Aquitaine. I control a bit of the Picardy coast. All of Wales is under my control. It is slowly eating each bit of it up. I have most of Ireland under control. Just these three little provinces here. So, Orwell, and Breffine. I don't know. Breffni? I don't know how you say that. Scotland isn't allied with France. And I am currently trying to befriend these countries. That's what these little symbols indicate here. So these were the vassals of Scotland. They picked a fight over here in Ireland. I joined in to defend the Irish states because I was going to vassalize them. I didn't want Scotland vassalizing them. And in the process of the Irish states basically told them, lose all your people. Then Scotland went and had a war with them later on, took most of the land back. So, anyway, this is EU5. This is a map painter game. Ooh, what the? Where did that come from? Muscovy, what are you doing? I don't feel like Muscovy's going to survive. Kingdom, Hungary. There's a lot of small European powers here. Austria's a bit neutered. Bavaria got neutered. Brandenburg still exists, partly because it's allied to Denmark, who's my ally. If anyone's played EU4, you know Denmark hates England. Scotland is allied with France. Ooh, very nice land. Oh. So, Andorra, Aragon and Castile had a fight. So don't hate each other, Oh, a bit of territory bitten out there too. Yeah. I helped Denmark take on Norway and Sweden. Oh. Scotland. Okay. So anyway, I've managed to... I've annexed all my English vassals. So there's one up here called Durham. There was also Lancaster. And then there was Chester. I've vassalized all them. So, vassalized. I annexed them, which means they're part of my country now, as you can see. So the way this game works is... You have your ruler. This is my second ruler. I'm only lost... How old is he now? 44. So, King Edward III died from Black Death, unfortunately. It sucked. And I was basically in a... That was fun. Not really. Okay. How do I start this? Okay, so... To explain this game... Simplest terms, you have... you can declare war on people if you have a proper Casabal. Or Casabalai. So... Huh. lost my claim on France. So, yeah, so you can declare war on countries. You can get land. Each province has people in it now. EU4 they had development points, or I think they had manpower, production, and tax or admin. I think. So the three they had in EU4. In this, you actually have a population. They have jobs. They have buildings which need people in them to be able to be functional. So at the moment here in Calais, I am currently turning into a city. It's probably not the best option there, but I'm just doing it because Calais is historically... Usually the last place I'm holding on to is England when I lose the 100-Year War. This is London. As you can see, it's my most populated province. Barely. It's got a bunch of buildings. So you got your noble buildings up top. You got your clerical buildings. You got your burgher buildings, which is your merchants. You got labourers, soldiers, and then peasants. Labourers and peasants are the same thing. Burghers don't really count. Each time you go to raise troops, we'll raise them from the population. So if you want peasants, you'll get 2% of all peasants. So we'll grab it from each type of population there is. So you got Harrow. Okay. So you got the peasants, and then you got your labourer peasants, and then you got your different ethnicity. So I need to do some converting. Different religion. I don't explain this terribly. I barely understand this game myself. So we'll start with provinces. So you start with, depending on which country you're in, there's 3 levels to a province. You have the rural settlement, then you have a town, and then you have a city. I only have one city, that is London. Other countries, which I can do here, we're going to location rates. So everything which is, I don't know if that's a brown colour. I'm colourblind, so forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. The grey, and then you got the greeny gold. So there's a bunch of cities throughout France, as you can see. I only have the one in London. Got a bunch of towns. So it's Wales, so it's Ireland. The ranking up the city increases the amount of stuff you can build in it. So we'll start with rural. So rural settlement gives you those advantages. It means you get double the RGO size, which is an extra population growth. Or jump around. You get extra population growth and local food production. So, for example, an RGO is this. It's whatever the resource is in the province. So you can see there's all these different primary resources. You can produce those resources in other provinces. You don't need to have the exact province for it. It just is more efficient to directly produce it from an RGO. So, for example, we'll go lumber. We'll go to London, and there will be lumber mills you can produce, and the base resource here is wheat, so you can actually produce wood elsewhere. It does cost resources though when you're doing it elsewhere, which lowers the viability of it. Then you have your town. So towns give you extra nobles, clerics, burghers, labourers, and soldiers. They also give you access to this style of building here. Some extra buildings in this list. most of these all buildings are available everywhere, except for granary, I believe. Yeah. So you can check which what the building requirements are by just going here, and it shows you. So you've got city, town, and rural. So this would count as a common building. You can build it anywhere. Granary, on the other hand, can only be built in a town or a city, for example. And then there are city-only buildings. Don't know how many of them we've got yet. I'm still fairly low on the tech. Oop. That's not showing me. There we are. Yeah, so you're going to build a market warehouse at the market centre. We'll get to that later. Chanceries, I think, have to be capital. Chanceries. Yeah, capital. That means capital. So there's a couple of capital-only buildings. One of them's a sergeantry. Music does do some weird things occasionally. Occasionally the music breaks entirely and you have to restart the whole game. It's great. There's also faction type buildings which are built. So you've got local assembly, I think. We've got some foreign buildings here. So you've got the bank, which is owned by the Bank of Peruzzi, and the Hanseatic Contour, which is owned by the Hanseatic League. I did have some, maybe a different game. You can also, entire factions can be building based as well. So the Hanseatic League is one of those types of factions. They'll be entirely building based. There we go for that. I don't know where to go for that. Building based. You can see there. So you've got the Hanseatic League, the Bank of Peruzzi down here. And there's 3 others. Shoguns count as yes, it's Hanseatic League and the Bank of Peruzzi. Looking at that. And then the army based as... Hang on. No, do not have any. No more. Alright, let's have a look at the actual political lineup of the world at the moment. So, Castile down here has fully completed the Reconquistador, whatever you call it. Portugal, Aragon has been a little bit eaten by Castile, but that's because they had a little war. They're usually allies, because they've been allied with me. So I made sure to ally them against France, because France is big and evil. See. Whatever. They're my enemy, therefore they're evil. Naples is slowly eating up Italy. Papal States is holding on. Hungary is just... It's eating everything. The Ottomans are pretty much gone. Yeah, they are. I don't think they're doing much. Trebizond Empire is still... How do you say it? Trapezuntine Empire is still there. I don't know why they count as... Country X. They count as an empire for some reason. So you've got kingdoms, you've got counties, duchies. Pale should really be a duchy. I'm thinking of turning this into a duchy as well. Because they really hate me at the moment. Trying to rebel. So you can see all different ranks there. So England is obviously a kingdom. Same for Scotland. Alright. So you do get troops. When you're at war, you just go to your levies and you can raise them. Hit that, they'll just produce from wherever they're supposed to be producing. You can check how many you're getting from here. Now, don't know what the combat power is, but you can have a look at the makeup of the troops you'll get. So as you can see here, we're getting at 61 footmen. That's because of the military buildings. So footmen come from your soldier populations. So 2% of whatever soldiers you have. So for example, in England, London, because I have 7,282, I will get 201 soldiers from London. Because of my nobility, because I got most of the nobility in London, I get a big number from here, so 114, plus a couple others from other ethnicities, and then some from Harrow and Kingston. So there's not many in the rural provinces here. So what happens with the... So for normal soldiers, you get 2%. So 2% of whatever your soldier population is will go into your levy, which is raised. 2% of your labourers and peasants will be raised as troops. And then 10% of whatever your nobles are raised as higher quality troops, which is the male knights. So these tend to hit a lot harder, take a lot more to get hurt, do a lot more damage. You can see here the various stats here: combat speed, combat power. Male knights have like 4. Sorry. Peasant levy have 1. Footman levy have 1. You also have your actual elite units. These perform a lot better against levies, so they tend to actually wreck levies if they encounter them. They also have better morale. So you see there they had 4 morale. Much lower numbers, you don't get a lot till later on. I'm just starting to get to the point where I can actually recruit a lot more. Does it show the morale? No, it won't. Yeah, that's all fine. So anyway, you also have ships. I got a little navy here sitting off the side. It is made of 12 galleys and 14 cogs. Cogs are transport ships. Galleys are basically your starter attack ship. I am in the process of researching next lot. Next lot. Yeah, so it's going to get the carracks and the barks, and then hulk, which is next up from the cog. The Mediterranean galley is actually the second tier galley. Oh, they need repairs. As you can see, they all move around as you want. For the most part, you shouldn't need to be moving around. It's more of an economy type game. I am constantly worrying about war with France. My troop numbers though are pretty good, but France looks tough. Doesn't look that tough. You see, only got 24,000 troops. Then you got Normandy. Then you got Brittany. Then you got Angers. Then you got Flanders. Then you got Artois. Burgundy, Nevers, Argamac, Foyce. We got all these different Luxembourg, I think counts. Yep. Reffel. So they've got a ton of troops which will pour out when you war them. Another change which they've had since EU4, because there was a thing with EU4 where you could have vassals, but your vassals couldn't have vassals. Well, your vassals can have vassals, and your vassals can have vassals of vassals. To make it complicated. So I'm pretty sure I had one which, probably don't have many more. Yeah, I think they're gone. Clanwellin, that's all one. Yeah, they've merged. They used to have used to be this country here, and then there was this one here, and they just combined them all together. But you can have vassal of a vassal of a vassal. And the reason why you use vassals at the start is because at the start we are functioning as feudal societies. Which means... so this is control. Control shows how much of a percentage of tax you'll get from that province. So for London, I'll get 100% of the tax I should get. For example. So based on the tax rates I have, I get 100% of that tax. And then you start seeing it starts dropping the further out you get. As you go through the text and go through the game, it gets better and better. And there's some big disadvantages over here. So you get these little standard chords which knock down your control. The other thing which also lowers your control is if your crown power is less, it will also affect the amount of control you have. Because I think that all impacts. Like just go to Harrow. Kingston, not Harrow. So we can see here the reasons for its level. So it's got proximity. Hang on. Okay, so it's based on satisfaction. So the lower your satisfaction, it will lower your control. Core adds 20%, and then proximity to capital. So because it's right next to the capital, it gets a 68. We can break that down further if we go to the... No, actually go here, proximity. I don't know how quite gets that from there, but whatever. So here you go, this is how we calculate the proximity cost. Because we're a farmland, we get +5. Some of the stuff's just like, ah, God, stop moving. Okay. So we got land social value, which increases that part. Proximity of cost of going along a river. Proximity cost of our infrastructure. We've got infrastructure. You can see the roads. So roads help decrease proximity distance. So I've built a few roads around. You start with a bit of roads in England already. One from Dover that goes through. I think that does that. And then there's another one which goes up here and then all the way up to Berwick. All the rest of these ones I've added in myself. And so Dover. Yeah, so Cambridge, Oxford, they weren't included originally in these roads. Colchester as well. So all this stuff I've added in as I've been playing. I could have done a lot more roads, but I just haven't bothered yet. I need to connect Liverpool up too. Liverpool's one of my other towns. I need to put a few more towns up on this side. Yeah. Okay, looking at markets now. So there's market system in this. London is my primary market. But I also have some provinces in Edinburgh. And I don't have any in Dublin. Actually, no, I do have some in Dublin. So I do technically... So if I go to markets, it will show the ones I have access to. So I don't actually have access to Paris. Paris is, at this point in time, the most valuable market. Go here. You can see. So this is the amount of production that's happening inside Paris. It's huge. I am there. London's getting along. There's, I think, Edinburgh and Dublin are further down. The idea eventually would be to get rid of Edinburgh, get rid of Dublin, and just have it all linked to London. So you can destroy markets once you get control of the province. But at the moment, it's not really worth me taking control of these provinces. Because first of all, they're just a completely different culture to me. And by having them in charge of it, they get all their control benefits. It's basically no control down there, but whatever. But like Aquitaine is a good example here. So it's very centrally located capital. Jeez, how do you do that? Ah! Increasing province control. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because Aquitaine is so close together, you can see it's one province which is separated by land, so it can't actually connect up to the rest of it. So it's obviously at a lower value. So the ideal thing for me to be here, set of provinces, is I would first of all finish off that, because that's some territory I have for Aquitaine which isn't finished yet. So you can see the whole province is, pull out a little bit. So it's the whole Tersan province there. You also got the Bazadias province, and I'd like to get this one, Bian and Bigor. I am probably mangling these names, so I apologise if that's the case. So that's some of my future expansion plans with Aquitaine. So specifically I'll be doing that for Aquitaine, not myself. Also I'd like to probably seal off this part of France and get Aquitaine to control that as well. I would also, one of the other things I would like to do is try and get something like Brittany or Normandy free, or under my control. And I might try and make Picardy over here. So you can release subjects. So you can actually do historical ones. So I could make the Duchy of Cornwall, Duchy of Northumberland, or I can do Lancaster, Durham, Northumbria is all that. We've got Chester there as well. And then I can also do Picardy. Picardy is weird, because it's only all those green bits there. So if I was to release it, I'd still own that. But you can give provinces to your subjects. So for example, you can, if you get territory you don't want, like if you conquer something and you take control of it and you don't want it, you can just give it to a vassal. Otherwise, you can sell it to someone who's closer to it. So you go economy and go sell. I've had this happen before. I was helping Denmark in another game I was playing, and they were like, England, you want this particular province right here for some reason, even though it's not reachable from anywhere else I have. So I just sold it to one of the local provinces there for a little bit of money. Wasn't really worth the money I was selling it for, but yeah. So one of my main biggest keys for me is I keep looking at France and going, that's too big. That France is huge. It's eating into the Holy Roman Empire, and it kind of is, but not really. I'll go back to the areas. This is all France. This is all how France is shaped. Alsace, Lorraine. This is these are where Switzerland should be. Those three. That's Tyrol and Trentino, which should be part of Austria from memory. Although, I'm pretty sure Austria loses the bottom part. And it's only got the top part. In current day. Then you go upper, lower, Styria. Yeah, that's all Austria. Then you got Italy. I think Italy... Yeah, anyway. So yeah, France is actually really, really big. You don't realise it's so big until you actually start comparing it to places somewhere like England. Where England's basically like West County, home counties, East Anglia, Mercia, Northumbria. That's it. That is England. France is all of this. It's a huge country. Like when we start out, discounting the Black Death, this is where we started the population. 3.633 million. So we had a bit of population to start with. France started almost at 6 million. And that's not counting their vassals. There you go. 6.448 million. There you go. So currently they're very reduced. They got knocked. The lowest was down to 344. They lost 3 million people nearly. check the diseases and stuff like that here. That's how many I've lost to disease so far. Too many. Can't really see the bubonic plague, can we? We a ledger for it? No. Wish there was a bit more to the ledger. I feel like it's not showing enough, so to speak. Like, I can't just go here and just quickly get up a thing showing the military strength, for example. Like, I can go here and get a pretty good overview of my country's current population. I can check all the different provinces. See, our most populated provinces are should be Lincolnshire and Norfolk. Why is it not even? How is this even organised? It's not even alphabetical. Like, it doesn't even make sense. That needs to be fixed. This should be alphabetical. There is no reason for it to be the way it is. So you can get a pretty good quick overview of what current populations are. See that we're mostly Catholic. A little bit of Christianity in there. Primarily we're made of peasants, with next lot of being labourers, which are also technically peasants. Then there's burghers, 56,000. Soldiers, 31,000. Clerics, and then nobility. So I'd assume France has a bit more nobility than that, because they have massive noble armies. Just looking at Paris, 1,500. So 10% of that would be just soldiers, and they got a lot of big cities. I think Amiens. Yeah, 29 there. Meanwhile, I'll be pushing that in most of mine. So as I said before, if you weren't paying attention, when you raise an army, you'll get 10% of your nobility as knights. So whatever your number there is what you'll be getting from that particular province. Provided you got this, you're keeping them happy. If they go below 25, they stop providing troops, from memory. So below 50 is okay. They don't stop providing troops. When they go below 25, it becomes a major issue. One other thing is, if you have a parliament system, which we do in Britain, I think most feudal countries have it. I don't know about... I haven't played any of the other style countries. So I haven't played the Golden Horde, which was here. Does it have government types? Yes. That is monarchy. So you got tribes, you got steppe, horde. For the most part, everything's either republics, theocracy, or just monarchies. Some tribes up here too. And that's just some dead land up there. Basically, that'll be stuff they can colonize later on, but... Corralling the sun. So yeah. It's EU5. No real gameplay, just trying to explain how some of the stuff works. It is very complicated. One of the things that will be your friend. If you don't take anything else from this video, take this. Go here. Automation. Make sure you automate trade. Probably production methods as well. Because otherwise you have to do it for every single building. And make sure to hit replace generals and replace admirals. So basically, if one of your admirals dies, or you start up armies, it automatically puts a general in charge of it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to each of your individual armies and then put a general on it, and that can get painful pretty quickly. Another thing is, early on, get your cabinet going. So I've got them assimilating the Scottish into Northumbrians in Berwick, which I probably should have done earlier, but I can do that now. Basically, I wanted to build a armory, but I can't build one because Scots isn't a recognised culture in my group yet. There will be eventually. This is the recognised culture. So Northumbrian, Cornish, sort of. Welsh aren't, and Picard. I'll probably want to take Picard out of the list. and eventually I'd like to get Scottish, Welsh, Irish into here. At the moment, I think I'm going to 5. Does it show where I have a limit? There we are. How do I have to be substantial. Why can't I add them? Huh. Because it's Celtic British. Ah. I guess. The Irish. So one thing I might be doing is also splitting off Cornwall, because it's got the Cornish. So either I keep the Cornish around, or I split them off to their own country and they can look after themselves for a bit. But I'll keep them as a vassal, obviously. Yeah. It's a great game. The recent patch did things. France was extremely aggressive in the early game. They're now basically just left me alone for like huge periods of time. It's like the 100-year snore at the moment for me. To be fair, I think they kept looking at me going, it's a bit scary. So if you win the first war against France, you're usually pretty good from there on. Because you usually get yourself in a better position. And once you get someone like Castile or Aragon on side, or even Navarre, which is not here anymore, but was, in Denmark, you get a few countries you can actually redirect the damage. Plus, as England, you rarely ever get attacked on land. And if you do, you can just isolate and kill them pretty quickly. Most of the time what happens is poor old Aquitaine has to basically tank everything. So France just launches massive attacks on Aquitaine, and it has to take the horrible thing all in all itself. Aragon, meanwhile, has also been a bit of a punching bag for France as well. Portugal's usually pretty good. Castile is usually big enough that it can actually take on France to a point, population-wise. It's definitely fallen behind. At the start, I think it was actually bigger. It was in comparable size anyway. And then it obviously had the Black Death happen and horrible things happened. It still hasn't fully recovered from that. France has just been eating its people. I think it ate one of its vassals there and it got a big bump to its population, but then lost it again. Yeah. So I've been enjoying this. I really enjoy this game. So anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry if it's a bit rambly. This is a lot of games to try and explain in even 38 minutes. But yeah, again, if nothing else to take from this video, you can automate a lot of things. So if you're having trouble with certain things, just automate it. You'll figure it out as you go. And I like to learn how to do things, but trade can be so blah. Look at all this. If you're doing this yourself and not letting it just automate it for you, it'll be just a nightmare. You can probably, if you're one of those min maxes, you want to turn trade off and do it yourself. But if you don't want to think about it, just turn it off. Just turn it on to automation and let it take care of it. You can actually do some control of it yourself too if you really want to. So you can go like this, and I just completely destroyed all the trades I had. But whatever, that's gonna be fun. So you can take control, so you have all this trade capacity, so you can do stuff yourself, or you can just let it go, and I will let it go. I shouldn't have done that, but that's fine. I'm gonna have no trade for a little bit. Look at that, just dropped down to nothing. And it's every market you're in. So if you have, say you're in Paris or France, you'll be in Bordeaux, Paris, Genève. You might even be in Coin or in Nuremberg, in Bruges. Be in all those different ones. In Barcelona, you'd be so many different things you'd be doing. Just don't worry about it. Just hit the button. And again, replace generals, replace admirals. The other stuff, automate if you feel you need to. It's usually fine. got research, which I haven't really gone into, but so you start off in this period, depending on, I don't know what the other countries are, like, so if you start in America, for instance, I don't know what their state of tech will be. The only one you don't get is meritocracy, which is an Asian one, specifically Chinese, I believe, because they're big on bureaucracy and everything like that. They had one of the biggest bureaucracies of the period. And a pretty functional country at the time, although it did have issues. You get this little tree here. This is what you start with. What you want to do is anything you can do to increase literacy of your people, so increase the max literacy, helps, because literacy equates to research points. So as you can see here, average literacy in my country is 11.54%. Also, your clergy satisfaction can help, and number of embraced institutions. So, it's gonna finish with us. I don't keep going. You got all these different things, so you can check stuff. So you can go language power. Oh boy, is Arabic language power quite big. Japanese is massive. Let me check that. That's culture. Nope. Guess we can't do that. English, French, German. I feel like German should be bigger than that, but okay. Italian. Gallo-Italic. Occitan. Spanish. Got the Occitan in there. Got some more Arabic there. I don't actually know what the percentage points are, but I think they might be... I don't know. I won't make guesses. Anyway, this is literacy of my place. As you can see, cities have better literacy, and Oxford and Cambridge particularly have better literacy. And that's because they start with unis. I think they're one of the few places to start with unis too. Whoa, no. Paris has got some. Trying to find, ooh, 34, jeez. Oh, that's alright. Oh, come and see. Oh yeah. Of course, Rome would have one. Uni. Special building? Nothing much. But because it's primarily a religious city, it would have a much higher rating than that. Give me Constantinople over here. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that Oxford and Cambridge are among some of the highest literacy places on in the continent. Just ignoring Rome and the Papal States. Yeah, we're definitely not the best in the world, but they're not terrible. But yeah, that's literacy. So if you want to increase literacy, more towns, libraries, burger building. So libraries here. Universities when you can build them. And if you have your capital, you have another building called a Chancery, which also adds to literacy as well. There's also tech, which increases literacy, so as tech goes along, increases literacy as you go. And as tech, that means your speed of research will go up and go up and go up. So as you can see, what we're getting at the moment is 1.63 points per month, and it's going to go into 28.75 research. And I get whatever that bit is. It's also not quite there yet. Institutions spread like they used to. You can speed them up. So if you click here, you can go bang, speed it up. Also, can't do it for Actually, it's a perfect example. So if I was to try and embrace meritocracy, it will cost me 1600 gold and 96 stability. I have 46. So you want to keep an eye on your stability. It's actually a pretty easy number to keep up. You have, you can actually spend money on keeping it up, and you can also have your cabinet stabilized as well, so they increase it by a set amount. But yeah, it's a complicated game. The best way to learn to play it is just jump in and play. I haven't even touched diplomacy and all that fun stuff. When you even had to build armies and that sort of stuff. So this is all the sort of army stuff you can build. There's also supply mechanics and things like that. So your army can get to starve and start dying from no food, especially if you don't have any supply trains. That's why you actually have camp followers. Useless in combat, but they carry a lot of food. While everyone else doesn't. So anyway, thank you for watching. This is probably one of my more rambly videos, so I apologise for that, but I really love this game. I'm how far am I into it? 217 hours into it. It's one of those games you just keep playing. I've been restarting constantly, partly because there's so many patches keep popping out, so every time I'm starting to make progress, patch comes out, I have to redo. But apparently they're going to have a bit of a break over the holidays, so I get to actually sit in and dig in and actually have some fun. But yeah. This is all I can see at the moment, obviously, so all I can see is Europe and a bit of North Africa and the Middle East. Big map. You've got all the Atlantic through there. I want to get to Australia down here at some point. India. I want to see what's going on there. All the fun stuff. One thing with Parliament, just to, because I didn't really figure this out for a while. If you want to get a proper Casabel on a country, easiest way is to do it when you're running your Parliament. It costs 50% of your this. So if you have 100% support, it will cost 50% of it. It will not pass if you have less than 50%. So I could, for example, fabricate Casabel on Scotland or on East Brefin or Owil. It's kind of a waste to do it on these little guys, but at the same time, I think you get a parliament every 4 to 5 years. So it's normally enough. Game has a long time to play. I think it's going to go till 1833. Just to put in comparison, I played a game where I had all of Britain under my control by 1370. In real life, that didn't happen until 1650, roughly. 1610, 1620, around there. It's in the 1600s at the very least. That's when Scotland came under British control, English control. More along the lines of Scotland's king also was king of England and then joined them together. It was kind of a weird sort of setup because they could be fighting each other, but you're still king of both countries, so it was weird. Wales was integrated into England. Ireland was definitely not almost 100% conquered, which is what's happened here. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Denmark had control of Norway and Sweden in original EU4. But yeah, I feel like sometimes the game sort of doesn't challenge you enough, a little bit. What's the best word? Like, it feels like Scotland needs some buffs to it to actually allow it to stand up to England, or have some form of alliance with France at the start to protect it. Because otherwise, I'm pretty sure Scotland's just going to get eaten by England, unless France kills England. Because France can kill England. Anyway, I'll stop now. I keep going. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to leave a like or subscribe, I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions, I'll do my best to answer. I am still learning this game. I may be 200 and something hours into it, but I still haven't got much of a clue of what I'm doing. I'm getting there. I'm learning as I go. I have not progressed past 1400s yet, so we'll see what happens when we get there. I haven't got to the edge of discovery yet. I'm only just starting on the military stuff. As you can see, that's the army you start with. You start in 1333. 1343, something like that. So yeah, I have not got much more than that. So anyway, look after yourselves, keep doing what you're doing, look after your pets, love your family, and cheerio!